Hello.
That was a quick change.
Quick switch over.
So, welcome to the Gone Life Finances channel. If you weren't just with us on our travel channel live, we are coming to you live from Thailand.
That's right. We're in Thailand for one more week, and then we are, excuse me, headed to another country. So next week, our life will be not from Thailand. It'll be a totally different looking apartment.
Yeah, it will be close to Thailand, and we could have ridden the train there. So, that's a hint. But we are not riding the train. We had a flight, and the flight got canceled, and they put us on a... No, the flight didn't get canceled. We messed up our visa.
That's right.
By
Yes, we
one
went
day.
to renew, to extend our visa because you get 30 days visa exempt in Thailand. And so we went to the immigration office, which is actually not far from our apartment here. We walked over there and, did all the stuff, stood in line and put in for our immigration extension. They extended for 30 more days, but there was a small miscalculation on our part, and we bought tickets for one day too late. So it had us overstaying our extension by one day, which you never want to do. So we were like, well, what should we do? Should we take a train or should we buy a new flight? Well, luckily for about $40, we were able to fix the problem easily. We were just able to change our flight to the day before, which worked out better anyways because it was a better flight. It has us getting into the next country at a much earlier time than our original flight. So that kind of worked out.
So, hello to all of you. Appreciate you coming over here and joining us for this finance chat. And if you have questions, go ahead and just leave them in the chat if you want, and we will get to them. We're also going to give some tips talking about slow travel, passive income tips, just some things we've learned along the way. Appreciate you all being here on your afternoon, our evening.
Yes.
And it is good to have you.
Morning for some of you.
Yeah, morning
on
maybe.
the West Coast.
Maybe in the morning. So I'm going to jump into the first tip before the questions roll in, because this one is really important if you're traveling overseas, and that is to pack your suitcase for the lowest airline restriction that you'll get. So you'll get a lot of airlines, you'll be flying, Air Asia or Delta, whatever. Well, you may get 50 pounds on Delta, you might get 70 pounds on Delta, but when you fly Air Asia, you're only going to get 20 kilograms, which is 44 pounds. So if you pack your suitcase for 50, because that's what your first flight is, when you get to your next flight in Asia, you're going to have to throw stuff away. So always pack your suitcase for whatever your lowest suitcase allowance is.
Yes, and they don't always let you pay for overweight bags. So sometimes you'll actually have to add a second bag, like actually purchase a bag at the airport and put stuff in. So that's why it's best to just start out with the lowest weight, and then you never have to worry about it.
Have you ever thought about doing group travel to Thailand?
Yeah, ooh. We have done it for just like a few individuals, but not like a group of people. We've done group travel to other places. So this one is obviously definitely a possibility because we're so familiar with the country. So definitely a possibility.
Brown-eyed Girl is asking, is YouTube feasible for someone who doesn't have a lot of time? I wouldn't mind. There are so many channels now. There is something for everyone. So I think the answer is it is feasible, and most people start when they don't have, like, they're working a full-time job also. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think almost everybody, except for the young kids, start while they're still working. And that's actually one of the reasons why I put together the YouTube course that we did. The link for that is down in the description. We put that course together to kind of walk people through that process of being able to, also set up timetable and figure out what you need to do in what order to maximize the amount of time that you have so that you're not spending so much time doing things that you don't need to be doing anyways at certain points. And so that was one of the reasons why we did that, to be able to break that down for people, because it really is, I think a lot of people think that YouTube is like, okay, well, it's been around for forever and it's just full and nobody really needs any channels. And it's like, you'd be amazed at how much information is still needed. And a lot of individuals, a lot of you guys have information that the rest of us don't have, and maybe we would like, to share. And I think there's still plenty of space on YouTube for people.
Yeah, I would say too that we probably wasted our entire first year on YouTube doing everything wrong. And that is why we did, if you're gonna do it and you have limited time, you need to do it right from the start. Because if you do it wrong, you'll just be stuck in the mud for a year or two until you figure that out. So that is why we put the course together, because it is gonna help you just avoid the mistakes that we made. So like our very first channel, which was our modeling channel, I think it took probably 2 years to get it monetized, like we're actually making money. And so this channel that we're actually watching right now, we just started it in April, and it got monetized in just a little bit under 4 months. So like 3 months and some days. And so from when we started doing YouTube until now, we learned how to cut that time down from 24 months to 4 months. And that was because in the first one, everything was wrong. Everything we could possibly think of
Couldn't have done
was
more
wrong.
things wrong.
And it's just, but you don't know that unless you
Well, and if
know.
you're working another job, that's the stuff that you want to avoid, because it's going to make it even longer for you.
Yeah. So we did it. We just want to emphasize though the last the video that we put out yesterday on this channel gives you an idea of what's possible with YouTube, and that's why we started this channel, so we could share what was happening. Because on the other channel that we just got off the live chat for, one of our videos has made us over $25,000, and that's life-changing money. And a lot of the videos make life-changing money. So it's not that it's going to do that every single time, but you can definitely make some real money on YouTube, and also just have fun. So
Yeah.
let me get to the second tip here.
Ooh, okay.
And that is talking about your medication. Let me tell them about that one.
Yeah, so really you need to have enough medication with you, especially if you're traveling extensively outside of the country. Bring your medication with you. Bring prescriptions with you if you have them, in case you need them to get through customs in different countries. Sometimes they will ask you for them. We've actually never been asked for them, so that's been good so far. But the other thing is that you can buy a lot of the same medications you get that you have to have a prescription for in the US. You don't have to have a prescription for. You can get over the counter in most other countries. So that makes it super easy. So now we know that we don't have to bring a year's worth of medication. We can get, this medication at this country, and we're going to be in those, so I don't have to worry about bringing them. But also make sure that you have things like, we don't really use Pepto. We use charcoal capsules. So we bring that kind of stuff for stomach issues. Just have some of those things, a few of those with you at all times, because you never know, when something's going to affect you, either the water or food, or just, you don't feel well, you pick something up on the airplane. You never know when you're traveling what you're going to pick up. So have a small kind of first aid, not really first aid like Band-Aids kind of thing, but little medicine kit that you bring with you.
Yeah, and I would also add to know where you can get all your medications. So like we're in Thailand right now, we can get almost everything we need here just over the counter. Even anything you'd be prescribed back home, it's just all over the counter here. And so we know that if we ever need medication, we need to come back to Thailand, because you can get it all really easily, because it's sometimes hard to wait. And if you're in more of like a Scandinavian country like Norway, Finland, you're not going to get anything from them, because they will require you to go through a doctor visit and all that there, and it's going to be a lot more of a thing. So if you know what you need, make sure you know where you can
get it if you're not going to bring it with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. She says, we work so hard on your channels. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We do have a couple more tips here to get on to. Let's talk about saving money. Well, we got a question here. We'll talk about that first before I save that tip. Sandy asked, thank you for the info on the IHG credit card. We're going to apply for one soon. seems like a great deal. Yeah, we
Oh
were
my
just
goodness,
looking.
It is such an awesome card.
Yeah, we just saw another one today. We're looking in Vietnam. You can tell them about
Yeah,
that.
we're looking at this. What's the name of the town? Vin Phuc.
Yeah.
Yes,
Vin Phu.
something like that. It's just north of Hanoi, and this property looks absolutely incredible. It sits. The way the property sits is overlooking this national park, Tam Dao National Park, and it is absolutely stunning. Like just the views alone, I'd just go stay there to just stare out the window. It's so beautiful. And we could stay there. They have an executive club, so you can get like your breakfast for free, and then you get some drinks and afternoon snacks, and it just looks like such an incredible property that we're really looking at cashing in some points there. And it's pretty low on the point scale.
9,000 points. It's a Crown Plaza, and it's 9,000 points a night, which if you buy the points on the sale is $45 a night. So, and they do have an executive club lounge.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna get food, housing, executive club lounge, $45 a night.
Yeah, we're seriously looking at it. We just discovered it today.
And you get 90 days now in Vietnam instead of 30. So
yeah, so we could stay for a while.
We have a CoStar Light question in here.
Oh.
A rogue CoStar Light question.
We got a rogue train question. We'll still answer it though.
Alonzo wants to know, if the CoStar Light is late and it makes you late for the Empire Builder, does Amtrak put you up in a hotel? They might. You don't know what they're going to do. They will take care of you.
But it's going to be in their way.
It's going to be in their way, and you have to accept whatever they're going to do. So depending on what the situation is, they could put you on a bus. We've seen people have to get off a train several stops early, get on a bus to catch the train they were going to miss if they stayed on that train. So it can be anything. It won't just be they're going to put you up in this hotel. They might, but they might not. So we always just stay a night on our own when we get to the
like
city.
Like a buffer day in between.
Yeah,
because you never know.
You don't want to mess with that. Sandy says that's an awesome deal. Yeah, that is an awesome deal.
Yeah, it really is.
We're finding more and more.
That card is actually pretty amazing. It's got so many good deals on it.
So we want to talk a little bit too about getting deals on Airbnb, or maybe not a deal, but just saving money with Airbnb. And a while ago, we figured out that if you're staying on Airbnb like we do for a long time, we're here for 2 months, and if you put over 28 days into the search bar, you'll get monthly pricing, which is good. But just recently found out something else about 30 or 31 days.
That's right. So you kind of have to play around with it for a little bit. And it's not just international, it's actually in the US as well. If you kind of play around with it for a little bit, you may also not have to pay taxes as well. And it's in just all different cities around the US and abroad as well. So just kind of play with the numbers too of days, because sometimes you're going to get tax-free as well.
Yeah, in certain cities like in Chicago, it can be astronomical, the taxes. So we definitely try to avoid paying the taxes, but we didn't know that for the last few years, which really has made a big difference.
Huge difference, yeah.
Another slow travel tip, this may be the last slow travel tip, and then we'll get into some of the passive income tips, but is to plan your airport pickup.
Absolutely. A lot of times you get somewhere, especially if you're traveling abroad. Rob probably already knows what I'm about to say. Some places could be really overwhelming when you arrive. Like it feels like you're the world's biggest celebrity when you arrive, because you walk out of that hall and there are literally 1,000 people just outside the arrival area. It is so overwhelming. This happened to us actually in Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon. And it was, we were literally, and we had a ride and we were just like dazed and confused. We had just flown in from Japan and we were just like, what is going on? And it's like this in Bali as well. When you arrive in Bali, you walk out of that arrivals area. So I prepared myself this time too. I said, I'm not going to walk out into that mob of people. And there's tons of taxi drivers. All of them want your attention. So what we do is we book our rides ahead of time. We use Klook, Klook, and book with them for a ride. I do that in Bali because it's super easy and it's so cheap. And then the other one we use often is Welcome Pickups. And that one's really great too. They also do tours, which is nice. They're a little bit more, but the pickups with them are great. They always, have a really nice clean car, great driver, comes and gets your bags from you and everything. So that's really good.
Yeah, it was a hilarious scene. I wish I had video of it because
I was too stunned to get the camera out, you guys. I was that stunned. I didn't even take a picture with my phone. I was just like, why are there so many people here? And it was like...
It was midnight.
It was the middle of the night. I thought, there was families, and I've never seen anything like that before.
I would say, I was shell-shocked.
And we've been everywhere. And we're just like, why are they all here?
It felt like half the country was there. So, yeah.
It was cute.
It was...
But overwhelming.
It was overwhelming. And if you didn't have a ride, you were not going to figure it out.
You were not going to figure out what you were doing.
Yeah, so appreciate you guys who have just joined us. I see a few more people joined. If you have questions, feel free to drop them here in the chat. We will answer them. Any kind of finance or travel question is fair game in this one. So get your question answered there. We're going to talk a little bit about passive income tips. That was the other topic we had here. And we consider passive income to be anything you can do that you can then eventually, once you've done it for a little while, take a year off and still get paid. So that is what we consider to be passive income. And that is what we do with a lot of our YouTube channels. We often hear people saying things like, well, you have 6 channels, and we do have 6 channels. And well, you must work full time on that all the time. But the truth is we don't work on all those channels all the time.
We do not. We actually, one of them we even took a whole year off of and still got paid every month from that. Sometimes we take a month off. We can work ahead. So that's nice. So there's lots of options, really. You don't have to work all day, every day. As a matter of fact, we didn't do anything today.
So Allie's doing a Travel Asia channel that she just wanted to do, and she's doing it while we're here. But when we go back to the U.S. and we're riding Amtrak, she won't be uploading anything to that channel. So you can take a lot of time off, and I think that's the beauty of passive income. Is it's definitely something that you can do that you don't have to do, but you can do, and you're going to keep making money no matter what you're doing. And that's why we have leaned so heavily into YouTube. 1, because we like it. 2, because we realized pretty early on what the financial impact could be of YouTube. And it has been something that has really blown us out of the water, what YouTube has done financially and what's possible financially. Even for people like us who, we're not really a big channel. We don't have 1 million subscribers, and you hear those people, the other people.
There's earlier on the other channel that there's really room for everybody. And there are those big channels, but there's a lot of channels we have, 100,000, on our other travel channel. There's a lot of channels like that still making plenty of money. There's just a lot out there still. And I know YouTube seems like it's old, but it's still pretty young. And there's still so much, they're so innovative. And actually YouTube helps you so much that I think it's such a great business model for, content creators. It makes it really simple that people even, our age and even older are on there doing content and doing well because, they're putting it out there.
Yeah, and so we can tell from the videos that we publish on YouTube what the average age is of the viewer. And so the average age of the viewers on this channel I don't know, obviously, how old each of you are individually, but the average age is our age, which is like 50. So we put our YouTube course together for people who are over 40 because it is very different to do YouTube when you're over 40 versus under 40. It's actually a lot easier and a lot better, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And it's way easier to make money if you're over 40 on YouTube. And so that's kind of what we start off talking about in that course, is that YouTube is perfect for people who are over 40 but want to make an income, have some money, want to put a little bit of time into something that they love, and maybe do something just a little bit different.
Yeah, because I mean, when it boils down to it, like everybody has some valuable information that they can share. And even if someone else is sharing that same information, like there's obviously other people sharing this type of information. It's just there's always space for everybody. And there's always a content creator for everybody. You know, I'm sure everybody has their favorite of, you know, for this and for that and for this, of the different people that you watch. And it's kind of nice that there's just kind of room for everybody.
So Ellie asked me a question the other day, which kind of caught me off guard, which was, where would you go for a month if you could go anywhere? And it didn't matter the housing costs, and it didn't matter the visa situation. So I want to ask you that same question and put it in the chat. Where would you go if you go anywhere for a month and you basically had free housing, which does kind of change things a little bit for me. I would be interested in knowing where everybody would go for a month if they could.
And are you going to share your answer?
I'm gonna share my answer. My answer was I would go to probably Norway and just do some photography there.
Yeah. It's because of the Northern Lights.
Yeah, the Northern Lights too. Brown Eyed Girl says Boston. Big surprise.
That's a shocker, Brown Eyed
Is that
Girl.
to see the Bruins? I'm guessing you would go during hockey season.
That's funny.
Yeah, and this does happen to us because we do pick places from time to time, and we did. I know you said last week you were from Edmonton. We did pick Edmonton for a while, and we met a lot of people from Edmonton on the train, and they were all like, "Why did you come to Edmonton?"
They were like, "Why would you go to
in
Edmonton?"
January? And I was like, "We want to see the Oilers."
We were going for hockey. The things we do for sports.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
All right, let's see what some of these places
JG
are.
says, "Where are you now?" We're in Thailand right now.
Yeah, Thailand.
Sandy would do Australia.
Ah, yes, that is high on my list.
We have never been to Australia, so
Yes,
we need to do that.
That is high on my list.
Thank you, JG, for the super chat. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, JG.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're in Thailand now. Let's see. White Sox Tom says Paris.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
it's a good place.
Let's
What else?
see.
Amsterdam?
Carolyn says Norway also. Great minds
Amsterdam?
think alike. Amsterdam. Well, I missed that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
David says Amsterdam. Wow, yeah, that's good too. Couple of Europes, Australia. We're all over the board here.
Ooh, yeah, lots of good ones.
Portugal, Scotland, and Iceland. That's
Oh, those are all good ones.
they're all pretty close to each other too.
Yeah, you could do those.
We did Scotland and Iceland on the same trip,
Mm-hmm.
and we actually took a surprise trip to Scotland. I don't remember why, but we booked it last minute, and so it was the summer, and Scotland is pretty expensive in the summer, and everything books out. So if you're gonna go to Scotland, book it ahead of time. We were gonna go. We found out we were going to Scotland a week ahead of when we went, and we ended up there was nothing available in like most of Scotland, so we ended up sleeping in like a pod.
Yes,
right?
and yes, we were actually. It's because we were up near the Isle of Skye, in the like between Glencoe and Isle of Skye. If you're familiar with that area, we ended up staying in a pod. And there's actually on our Grounded Life Travel channel, there's a tour of the pod. It literally took like 2 minutes to do.
The sink was that big.
It stood in the same spot and just kind of rotated around. So it was fun. It was adult camping.
JG wants to know what time is it here. It is 9 minutes to midnight, so
Yes.
11:51.
Yes, so it is almost Monday for us.
Brown Eyed Girl says, "Have you ever been to Churchill, Manitoba? if you want to see the Northern Lights.
We do want to go to Churchill. As a matter of fact, we want to take the train up there because we want to see the bears. We want to see the polar bears.
We do.
Or at least I do. I've wanted to go
do.
up there for forever, and I think Rob does too. So, and
Yeah.
definitely the Northern Lights. So I think we're thinking next year about going up in that area.
Yeah, we did the Via Rail last year, and it was the trial because we didn't really know anything about. We'd never been on Canadian trains, so now we know what it's like. I think we can handle overnight in coach on
Yeah.
Via Rail,
Easily.
and we may try to do that. How was Scotland? Tracy says.
Oh, Scotland was amazing. Oh my goodness. The landscape is beautiful, especially when you get up into, like I mentioned, that Glencoe and Isle of Skye area. The cities are great. Edinburgh is amazing. Where else were we? We were in Glasgow. A couple other places. Now I can't think of what. Then we were in several places, but we absolutely loved Scotland. It's a really fun place. And then when you get out into the country, like up in Glencoe and Isle of Skye area, it's absolutely stunning. Oh my goodness. I spent my whole time, we were driving on the opposite side that we're used to in the US, and and on the opposite side of the car, opposite side of the road. And the whole time I'm like trying to look, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that. But I was driving, so not a good thing.
Yeah, we had our almost worst train disaster going from London to Edinburgh because we booked a train and we didn't know how the trains worked in the UK. This was a while ago, and it was basically just like an open train. They were going to let as many people on as possible, and we asked the guy at the station, like, what track do we need to go to, because they don't put them on the board there until like 15 minutes before the train leaves.
But we didn't know that yet.
We didn't know that, and we had all these bags with us because we were traveling. And he looked at us, and he just had pity on us.
He shook his head like,
and he knew what was going to happen to us, and he told us, just go over to track 12 right now. And that was the track that our train was going to be leaving for. And so we walked over to track 12. We got on the train. It was already there, and we were like, this is great. There's no one here. There's no one on the train.
We had the whole place to ourselves.
And when they put that train on the board, it was like Armageddon had broke out. And
we actually got scared because we thought maybe
Hundreds.
there was some sort of an emergency because everyone was running. We looked out the window and people were just running. Like, they looked like they were running from someone or something. I was like, is there like a dinosaur out here or something?
Yeah.
They were running like crazy to get on the train. Anyways, ended up, it was so packed that people stood for, how long was that ride?
Like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. They stood like jammed together. It was absolutely insane.
yeah, and so it was.
Wildest train ride we've ever done.
He saved us.
He did save us. It was, if I ever see him again when we're in Scotland, I'm going to be like, I'm going to have to give him an extra tip. Or maybe just a hug. I don't know.
Let's see. We got a New Zealand. We got a Spain.
Ooh,
And
great.
if before you leave Winnipeg, we can have coffee and meet up. Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
We did on the Via Rail. When we got off there,
We stopped in the Winnipeg station there.
Yeah,
I walked around for like an hour or so.
Yeah, you can get off for a couple hours there, which is great. Any place you guys really hated? We haven't really hated anywhere.
No, the thing is that's part of travel too, is just your attitude is a huge part of your experience as well. And even if when you don't like something or you feel like, oh, that person was rude, or it's so hard to do this, like that kind of stuff happens obviously, but it's just kind of how you deal with it. And just you just have to take your lemons and make some lemonade out of them with every situation. Kind of like I was explaining earlier happened with our immigration situation. We ended up with one less day here than we thought we had, so we had tickets for the wrong day, and we made it work out. We figured, hey, it's gonna work out one way or the other, no big deal, and actually ended up only out $40 for the whole thing. So you just make it go. So we haven't really run into any places where we're like, oh, that's terrible. Not really.
Yeah, we have had some bad experiences just that have happened to us or to the place where we were, but it didn't mean that we didn't like the place. Yeah. So
They're just isolated events.
thank you, JG. Yeah, we did start channel memberships on this one and the travel channel because we're gonna have some investing content on here for the channel memberships too. We get a lot of questions, and that was actually a question that was written in earlier in our comments and so forth, that people are wanting to know if they're brand new investors, what's an easy way just to start investing, buy your first stock. So we put a link in the description of this one of an app that we have used for a few years if we're just wanting to buy a couple of stocks, and it's Webull. We put it down there. The reason that we like that for investors who are just starting out and making their first trade or purchasing their first stock is that when you sign up for that app and you make like any deposit at all, like you just put $5 into the app, they will actually give you, depending on when you do it, like 6 or 12 stocks for free. Now they're just going to be like $3 stocks, but still you're going to put $5 and you're going to get $20, $30 worth of stock. But what makes sense about that is you can take those stocks and sell them right away and then buy something else. And so you get used to what it is to sell a stock, what it is to buy a stock. Make sure you're doing it right. And you're kind of doing that with house money. What you don't want to do is put $10,000 into a stock trading platform and then try to buy a stock and do it wrong and really mess it all up. So you want to, I like that app because it kind of gives you like a free $25 to play with, and you should be kind of playing with house money for the first month when you've never bought a stock before. So if you want to try your first one, there's a link to that down there. That's what we do, and when we do other things now too, but that's a good place to start.
Yeah, and we actually have a video coming up with some of our, with basically our top 3 tips of, for beginner investors of what guides to use in order to invest.
Yeah, Brown Eyed Girl says the station in Winnipeg is beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
It is
actually
gorgeous.
We were there at Christmas time. It was actually before December. It was in December, before Christmas. And it had that huge tree in the center. Oh my goodness, it was gorgeous. And that whole downtown, that whole area around the station was really beautiful with lights and everything. So yeah, it was really pretty.
Yeah, actually it was prettier than Vancouver and Edmonton. But Toronto is pretty too.
Toronto is pretty also.
Yeah, they're all nice. Yvette says, yeah, that's me. I'll be a new investor. I've heard of it, but was apprehensive. Yeah, we actually just put a little money in there today just to buy a couple things. So it's good. And I think it's important just to, no matter the age, it's important to do the first purchase, because once you do one, the hardest part of investing is making your first purchase. So it's important just to get the first $5 purchase even. Then you know how to do it. And that's the biggest hurdle is it. We actually set up a whole account for her on there today, and it took us all of maybe 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And we actually had bought something. Well, we didn't buy anything because you put your $5 in, whatever you're going to put in, your $50. It takes a few days for it to actually get in there. Once it gets in there, we'll buy it. But we got it set up in about 15 minutes. So
yeah, and I got some free stocks in there.
Yeah, she's going to have quite a few free ones.
Yeah, so if you want the free ones, you can go down and use the link that's in the description. You'll get some freebies from us.
Let's see. I didn't quite get the question from that just came through. It got cut off, but yeah, I was talking about the Winnipeg station, and the one thing I love about that is that they just let you off and walk for a long time, and we miss that when we're on Amtrak because the stops are like
sometimes they're
5
like
minutes.
You can only go out for 1 second. You like go out, the two of us are running up and down the platform real quick, and then we just jump back onto the train. One time our attendant was like, "What are you guys doing?" They're like, "This stop is only like 3 minutes." We were like, "We'll be right back, don't you worry." we like ran up and down the platform. They were like, all aboard. We just jumped right back onto the train.
She's asking, I started investing back in 2019. However, I haven't made much money. I'm wondering what I should do next. I think it's important just to, these things go in like ebbs and flows. And, you know, obviously 2020, depending on when you invested and what all happened, it could be that was a pretty tough period. Tough periods can usually last a couple of years. But then if you look at like 2008 was a really tough period. But then starting in about 2009 all the way up until 2020, it was 11 years where the stock market just went straight up, basically. And so you don't want to be discouraged by a rough year or two, because usually the rough years only last for a year or two, and the good years last for 7 or 8 years in a row. So I think the best thing to do, if you don't know, if you're investing, just a little bit of money, you don't want to invest a ton of money, buy an ETF of the whole stock market. We were talking about that last week on here. Ticker symbol VOO or VTI. And if you just put $50 a month into that, and you come back and look at it 5 years later, it'll be higher than it was today, almost assuredly. Because you're investing in the whole stock market that way instead of just one company. If you invest in one company, it may go up, it may go down, but the whole stock market over a 5-year period almost always will go up. So that's what I would do. Don't be discouraged. Same thing happened to us. We really started investing heavily in 2008, and it was terrible because it was like we started investing and then the housing crisis happened. So our investments went down, and the house we had just bought in 2007 went down. And we bought a house, and our neighbor next to us bought the exact same house. They bought it 6 months after we did, and they paid $80,000 less for the same exact house. And I was just like, this is like the worst timing ever. But if we didn't sell our house and we didn't sell the stocks, and by 2011, which was 3 years later, it had all come back and was worth more than we paid for it, and way more than they paid for it. So I think the key is just don't get discouraged by short time frames, and always have a long-term horizon as an investor. So I was running the numbers the other day on, if you put $50 a month just into the stock market, on average, after 30 years, you'll have almost $100,000, which it just compounds over time. So Sebastian wants to know how we met.
Oh, we met in college. My freshman year and
my sophomore year.
Rob's sophomore year, because clearly he's older than I am. We met in college.
Maybe I went to college early. No, I had a late birthday, so I might be even older than you.
Our birthdays are only 1 day apart and 1 year apart. But we met in college. Mutual friend groups.
In Tennessee, of all places. Abby is asking, I like your new glasses. What country did you buy? I'm assuming you're talking about her glasses.
I assume that's me. So I don't know if everybody knows the story behind the glasses, but I was robbed in Bali by a monkey. I was walking around at Uluwatu Temple, and a monkey literally snatched the glasses off my face, and he wanted to barter for food before he would give them back. Well, he decided he would keep the glasses and the food, and he took off with my glasses. So I had no glasses, but I had my old prescription in my suitcase back at the villa where I was staying. So I had to spend the rest of the day with no glasses, but then I had my old prescription. So when I got So that was while I was in Bali. When I got to Thailand, then I was like, okay, I gotta get my new prescription because I was getting headaches, every day because I was used to my new prescription. And so, yeah, I got my new glasses here in Thailand. I'm glad that you like them. I went with purple. I asked the guy in the shop, I was picking out the glasses by myself. On my morning walk, he was opening up the shop and I thought, oh, let me pop in here and see if he can get me some glasses. He didn't have to do an exam or anything. He took my glasses and he looked at them and he had me look through some stuff, whatever, and he decided on a prescription. And so I was like, okay, I don't know how he came up with that, but let's go with it. And then he said, pick out some frames, and they had them 50% off. And I don't know, I was out of there for like, I think $80 or something. And so I was trying to decide between these purple ones. I don't know if you can tell they're purple, or black ones. And I asked him what he thought, and he said, oh, these are better. So I went with the purple ones. I came back and I told Rob, listen, I ordered some glasses from the shop down the street. They're purple. The guy said that they look good. So don't laugh if I look terrible now. But I guess everybody likes them.
The monkeys
So
are
thank
like
you.
the monkeys are like what? This? Well, you can't see it.
They're big.
They're not like
I mean, they're
gorillas.
probably as big as like from the top of my bun to like the middle of my belly. I mean, they're pretty good size.
couple feet tall, probably.
Yeah, they're a pretty good size. So it's not like you really want to fight them. And, they're kind of intimidating because they make sounds and there's so many of them. Like you think, well, they could just all gang up on me too, So I'm like, I don't need the glasses that bad. I'd rather be blind. So, one of the workers there, they do have people that kind of have food that they try to barter with them. And they even tried going down and chasing them, and the monkey would not give my glasses up. I don't know what was so great about my glasses, but I guess they really liked them. Hopefully he can see better with them.
And that's not the first time we've been attacked by a monkey. It's the second time. I was attacked by a monkey on the Rock of Gibraltar, which is just south of Spain. This was like 20 years ago, so it's been like a long family story.
Because it was a gift for our son who was like 3 at the time. He's 25.
I had bought a little mini soccer jersey for our son. Little Sega was on the front of it. He liked Sega. And I was walking around the Rock of Gibraltar, and I was just had it in my hand, and a monkey just jumped on the front of me and just like attached and like put its legs around me and started shaking the bag, trying to get it from me. And I just held on to the bag for dear life. And then after about 5 seconds, he just ran away. And so that has been a monkey story in our family for like 20 years. And finally,
now we have a new monkey story.
We have a new monkey story. So we have both had monkeys jump on us.
Good times.
Good, yeah.
That's the story you didn't ask for about my glasses, but thank you for your compliment.
That question brought that went down the rabbit hole.
It did. We're out now. It's okay.
We have gotten out of that.
So I think we did share all of our slow travel tips. We shared some passive income tips.
Yeah. If you
I think that's pretty much it. Does anybody else have any questions before we go?
You can put them in there before we start telling more stories of things that have attacked us, which we could probably think of. But
oh my goodness, we have too many funny stories.
Yeah, I think those are the only 2 places you can be attacked by a monkey. We've never been attacked by like a bear or moose or anything like that, which would be way worse. The monkeys are...
Yeah, because we've been in places where they could, like, in Tetons and Yellowstone. There's all kinds of stuff, but...
Yes, we should be live next week. We will, let's see, it's going to be this time. Yeah, it should be. We're going to be it's going to be 1 hour later for us there, though. So, it'll be...
Yeah, we'll work it all out, but it'll be at the same... We'll schedule them in again so you'll know exactly when it is.
Well, thank you. Yeah, be careful in church.
Yeah.
History of animals attacking.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Edward.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Do we have something else? No.
Nope, she's saying they
okay.
look cuddly.
Yeah, they
but
look cuddly. They're definitely
they're
not
not.
cuddly.
Yeah.
From a distance, I'll just be watching with my binoculars. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining in. We'll schedule in our live for next week. Got lots of great videos. Everything we talked about is linked down below in the description. So go down there, and if you forgot what we said about the YouTube course or the trading Webull or anything like that, it's all down there. And we hope to see you guys next week in a new country. Have a great day, everybody.